Hello everyone, and welcome to today's Home Designer Quick Start demonstration. My name is Kayla and I will be presenting today. We also have Emily here with us, and she's here on chat to answer any questions you might have during today's presentation. Before we begin, let's go ahead and show the GoToMeeting system. So this is your GoToMeeting control panel. The standard is to use mic and speakers. Now we do have everyone muted today, so you don't need to worry about setting up a microphone. But if you're having trouble hearing me, you can click this audio setup button and it'll help you adjust your speakers. If you're still having problems hearing me, if you really need another option, you can click this use telephone button. The number and PIN will appear below and you can follow the instructions there. Like I said, we do have Emily here with us today. She's here to answer any questions you might have. So if you do have a question at any point, just go ahead and type it right into the box and press send, and you'll see her reply below. If you don't see that control panel that I was just showing you, that's fine. It minimizes up to a little button at the top of your screen. Just click this orange button and it'll maximize so you can see those options. Now we do have a number of different products available in our Home Designer line. I will be using Home Designer Professional in today's presentation, but most of what I do will apply to the other versions as well, and I'll be very specific when I use a feature that only the Home Designer Professional has. So today we're going to go through a plan from beginning to end. We'll start just by looking at the program as a whole. Then we'll draw out some walls, look at our dimensioning tools, then we'll work on our actual design, including kitchen design, electrical, then some more structural aspects like our roofs, and then we'll work on some landscaping, materials, layout, everything you need to complete a set of plans. So to begin with, I'm just going to open up our program here. When you first open up any Home Designer program, you'll see this welcome screen that appears right here. Now, this is just the screen that appears, and you can click this button if you need a little bit of help to get started. It'll take you to our website and give you some resources there. Here's where you can open up a new plan or open a plan that you've previously been working on. When you click on New Plan, this template chooser appears. These are templates with various defaults set up in the program to help you get started in a design style. Choosing one of these changes the materials defined in the defaults for the program. Also, when you click this drop down, here's where you'll find some actual pre-designed plans. Also note that here's where you can change your plan into metric if you're not going to be working in US imperial units. I'm going to click cancel because I actually already have a plan open. When we first open up the program, we're going to see our workspace here. So we have our default toolbar up at the top that has all of our tools for building. And then we have in Home Designer Professional this toolbar over on the side that's your display options. In the other programs, you'll find these up in your toolbar at the top. So if you see me use one of these options, know that you can find it and I'll show you where. So to begin with, let's take a look at our defaults. So this button here will take us to our full default settings. Just like the templates that I was showing you before, this default setting will allow you to change the specific defaults for the program. So for instance, if I click on General Cabinet, I can open it up and change the minimum width or the resize increments, or a base cabinet. This is going to show me what's going to drop into the program when I place a base cabinet in. And you can edit any one of these settings here and change the defaults for the program. So for instance, I can remove my toe kick and just do a 1-inch height and 0-inch depth, and you can see it appear there. Then when I select OK and Done, those defaults are all set up. So to begin with our plan, we're going to start just by drawing our exterior walls. So we do have a number of wall options available. Our exterior wall is going to have drywall on the inside and siding on the outside. So to draw one, I'm just going to click and drag, and you'll see that dimension appear along the side. to begin with, I'm not going to worry about dimensioning it correctly. I'm just going to draw the general shape of the house. And clicking and dragging all the way around. And as soon as I complete my room, you'll see these lines appear. These are roof planes, and we'll work on our roof a little bit later. So for right now, I'm going to go up to my roof tools at the top, click this drop down, and click Delete Roof Planes. I do want to turn it off because I want our roof planes to delete. And you'll notice when I click on a wall, we have these edit handles that appear here so that I can just click and drag to resize that wall. So now that my footprint is established here, I'm going to do a dollhouse view so we can see as I was building my floor plan, the 3D model was building right alongside it. So we have our floor that appeared below as soon as I finished my room, and drywall on the inside, siding on the outside. Now we do have an issue here where we have drywall on the inside of our house here. So I am going to select Shift F6, and what that does is it enables me to work both in 3D and 2D at the same time. And I'm going to zoom in with my scroll wheel. It's really handy to have a mouse with a scroll wheel because I can zoom in and out very easily. It allows me to work on my plans very efficiently. So now to get rid of that siding on the inside of my walls, I am going to come up to my toolbar at the top and click this Break Wall tool and just break right where the interior and exterior spaces meet. Then I'm going to select my interior walls, hold down the Control key so that I can select both at the same time, and then come down to my Edit toolbar and open them up. Now, this is my wall specification dialog box. Whenever I open up an item, I'm going to get a dialog box that will enable me to change different features about it. So this one, I'm in my Wall Types tab, and I'm going to change it from a siding 6 wall to an interior 6 wall. This has drywall on both sides. Then when I select OK, you can see the changes appear here. And one last thing I'm going to do in this mode before I exit out of that 3D is I'm going to open up this room, and I did that just by double clicking the room itself. And again, another specification box appears here. Now I'm going to change my room type to a garage and select OK. You can see in my floor plan now it's labeled a garage, but also in my 3D view you can see it updated to a concrete floor. And then when we build our foundation, it'll change some of the defaults for the foundation as well. So sometimes naming a room something specific will change the defaults for that room. So now I'm going to exit out of this 3D view and we're going to maximize my 2D. And I'm just going to dimension this space. So to do that, I'm going to use our temporary dimensions. I'm going to click on the wall and you'll see 3 dimensions that appear here. One that's parallel to the wall, one that's perpendicular, and one that is on the side of the wall, showing me the distance between this wall and the one to the left of it. I'm going to select the dimension that is parallel to the wall, and when I select it, this box appears so that I can type in the exact value that I want that wall to be. I'm going to continue doing that all along my walls. So again, I just select the wall, put my cursor right over the temporary dimension, and type in what I want it to become. This one's 11 feet 7 inches, and I'm just pressing enter to apply those changes. Now this one I'm going to start with the parallel dimension of 22 feet, and then I'm going to update the perpendicular dimension. So you can click on any one of these temporary dimensions that appear. I'm going to change that to 24 feet, and you can see it updated. And now that that's all properly dimensioned, we do have a number of other dimensioning tools that you can use. I use what are called temporary dimensions, but up in our toolbar at the top, you'll see all of our other dimensioning tools. So we have our manual dimension and end-to-end, which will show me, just as the word implies, one end to another. the interior dimension, which no matter where I drag, it's going to go from drywall to drywall in the interior space. Point to point, so I can go from any one point to any other point in the program. And then we have some automatic dimensioning tools. So we have our auto exterior, and a feature new to the 2014 version, the auto interior dimensions. And obviously this is fairly cluttered, so we're going to remove all of these dimensions, but you can see how easy it is to place those all in there. So to remove these dimensions, I could click and delete each one, but there's a much faster way to delete them. So I'm going to go up to Edit, Delete Objects, All Rooms on this floor, or even all floors. And I'm going to delete my manual and automatic dimensions. Then I'll select Delete, and you can see all of them deleted at the same time. So a very efficient way to delete multiple objects at once. Alright, so now I'm going to draw out our interior walls, and just as I did for the exterior, I'm not going to worry about dimensioning them until they're actually all drawn out. So the interior wall, again, in your default toolbar, right underneath the exterior. And I'm just clicking and dragging to draw them out. And then just as I did to dimension the previous walls, going to select the wall that I want to move, click on the dimension perpendicular to it, and type in what I want it to become. I'm going to do that all along this space. So I want this one to be, it's very close, 16 feet, 10.5 inches. So you can be very specific on what you want it to be. Now I want this wall to move, so I'm going to select that dimension, change it to 5 feet 7 inches. And now that all of our walls are built here, I'm going to take another 3D dollhouse view. And again, this dollhouse view just takes off the roof so I can see my floor as a whole. And the 3D view can be used to simply view your 3D space, but you can also edit, and you have a lot of control in a 3D mode as well. So I'm going to place a couple of doors, and you can see the outline of the door. So before I place it, I know where it's going to be placed. I can place a doorway on either of these walls, and you also have the option to select any object, and you'll see these edit handles that appear. So I can simply drag it out to resize the door. I also want this to be centered in my room, so I'm going to, with that object selected, come down to my Edit toolbar at the bottom and select Center Object. Then I'm going to put my cursor over that room and click, and it'll center it right in that room. I'm going to place a couple of windows as well. We do have quite a few window options. I'm just going to do my default window for the program and place a couple in here. And place my garage door and a sliding door as well to lead to my outdoor space. I'm going to delete that window. We'll place it again in a 2D view, because instead I want to place my front door right where that window was. So very easy to delete different objects, move them around. And I'm going to exit out of this view and finish placing all of my doors and windows. So I'm going to place another window right next to it. I'm going to place one window on this bottom wall and one leading out to the front yard, or what will become the front yard. And we need one more door to lead to this powder room here. And then a couple of doorways so we make sure we have access to all of our rooms. And you also can open up multiple objects simply by holding down the control key, just as we did for our walls earlier. And then I'll come down to my toolbar at the bottom and open them up so that I can edit specific objects once they're placed. So this is our default window. You can edit all of your defaults before you begin, so I edited mine to create this window, but then you can also open them up and edit them after they are placed. So in this instance, I'm going to change these to fixed glass, so we don't have any moving parts in these windows. And I'm going to go into our Lights tab and simply remove our lights. So we have two fixed windows. You also can get into the general and change the width to 48, the height to 54, and change the location from the floor to the top of the window. Select OK and you can see our changes applied there, and then when we get into a 3D view in just a bit, you'll see those changes once we're there. Alright, so next let's begin working on our kitchen. So this is going to become our kitchen area. And instead of the dollhouse view like we've been doing before, I'm going to do a full camera view. And to do that, I'm simply going to click and drag to where I want to be viewing in the program. So this is going to become our kitchen space, and you can see this camera view allows me to stand inside the room. So I have my floor below me and my ceiling above me. And again, I'm going to select Shift F6 so that I can be working both in a floor plan mode and a 3D mode at the same time. And I'm going to use my arrow key just to back up a little bit so I can see some more of this space. Alright, so now we're going to start working with our cabinet tools. And just as you saw in the defaults, I'm just going to drop in a base cabinet. And you'll notice I can drag my cursor right into the corner and it will automatically update to a corner cabinet for us. So very easy. I can also force it to not be a corner cabinet by not placing my cursor in the corner. I'm just going to place a few more. We do have smart objects, so they snap right up against each other. And just as we did in a 3D mode, I can click on any object and these edit handles appear so that I can resize it to a 4-foot cabinet, make some room for a sink there. I'll place one more, and now I'm going to place a couple of full height cabinets. Place one right alongside that base cabinet, resize it a bit, and place one right over here. So again, by placing my cursor outside of the corner, I can make it snap to not be a corner cabinet. And I'm going to drop in a few wall cabinets as well. So pull it into the corner to create that corner cabinet. I'm going to zoom in so we can see a little bit better what we're doing. And place a wall cabinet along that side. I'm going to resize these cabinets to meet up with the ones next to them. And I'll place one more on top of that cabinet. Now I'm going to get into my library, and to do that I'm going to go up to the Library tab at the top and click on Library Browser. So this will bring me to my library within the program. This is where all of our items are located. So we have quite a few different catalogs here. We have our core catalog, and these are all of the items that come with the program itself upon purchase. There are also bonus and manufacturer catalogs that you can download from our website, and I'll show you where a little bit later. Then there's also this user catalog. And this is a catalog where if you import your own materials or items, they'll go into your user, or you can drag various items from the other 3 catalogs into here to create custom folders if you're using items quite frequently. So for instance, I have this library created where I can grab a refrigerator that I pre-selected and drop it right in there. Oh, we need to pull it back a bit. And then I am going to place a wall cabinet right on top of that refrigerator. And then we can resize it to meet up with the refrigerator. And you can see it automatically resized that wall cabinet so that it's not the full length, but meets right on top of that refrigerator. And obviously that's quite a small space to have a door up there. So I'm going to select this cabinet and either double click it or come down here to open it up. This again is our specification box, so I'm going to click on the component that I want to change, and it's telling me right now that it's a right door, but I'm going to pull this drop down and change it simply to a door panel. And that's all of the changes that I want to make to this cabinet, and I'll select OK, and you can see those changes updated there. A few more things we want to change here. I'm going to open up this wall cabinet, and instead of getting into the specific component, I'm happy with it being a door, we're going to get onto the door drawer tab where I can change the style of the door. So to do that, I'm going to get into my library. This is going to take me to a subset of library objects that are only applicable to cabinets. And I'm going to change it to this divided glass door. Select OK. You can see a preview of the change here. And then when I select OK again, now we have some nice glass cabinets for storage there. I can also place a window in this view, and you'll notice it automatically resized so that it's not butting into that backsplash. Then I'm going to raise it a little bit. And then just like I did for our doorway earlier, I'm going to come down here with the window selected and use my center object tool, and you can see that center line. Click to center it right over top of that cabinet. I'm going to get into my library again, and we're going to grab a sink to fit right underneath that window. So I have a 42-inch undermount sink, and to place it into this cabinet, all I have to do is place my cursor right over the cabinet and click to drop it in. And I'm going to do the same thing for a double oven into this cabinet. So I'm going to grab my wall oven, place my cursor right over top of that cabinet, and click to drop it in. And you can see it automatically places it in the center of the cabinet, but you can open it up and specify exactly where the placement you want it to be. I also am going to open up this corner cabinet because I want there to be a Lazy Susan inside. So getting into my front tab, down here we have our corner options. So I can deselect the diagonal door if I want the pie cut, but I do want that diagonal door there. And then I'm going to check this Lazy Susan button. Select OK, and you can see a little bit of the preview there, but you can see it a little better in a plan mode where you have the circular Lazy Susan. And one last appliance that we need is a dishwasher. So I'm just going to type a dishwasher into my search bar at the top, and it's going to bring up my applicable items. So I like this one. I'm going to select it, and just as before, place my cursor right over and drop that dishwasher in. Now I'm going to get back into my user catalog because I have an island that I've pre-designed. So I'm going to drop this right into the program, and this is what's called an architectural block. So you can select multiple items and block them together so that they act as one unit. And when I come down here with that block selected, I can come down here and explode my architectural block, which then enables me to move items around individually. Architectural blocks can come in handy quite often to create those blocked items that you can save in your library. So now our kitchen is pretty well done here. I'm going to maximize this 3D view because I want to take a look at some of our rendering options. So this here is just our standard rendering. We have color, texture, it has a fairly realistic look to it. You also have a number of other options to view this space. So we have a vector view where we have our color and our pattern, but it's removed the texture. There's also a glass house view so that I can see into my cabinets and see into the other rooms. There's also a Technicolor illustration and even a watercolor view. So you have quite a few different options for how you view this space, and you can export these as photos that you can print out or send to others. So I'm going to get back into our standard view. We can, in our camera view, walk through this space simply by using our arrow keys on the toolbar. So I can just walk right over to this mudroom and enter this space. Now these two windows are not centered on that wall, so I'm going to start with that. I'm just going to center right into this room. And I want to update some of the materials in this room. So first of all, I'm going to select this room, and you can tell the room is selected both by what it says at the bottom of the screen and by your selection here where you can see the room. And we'll open it up and get into our materials. So I want to change our floor covering. This is a mudroom, so I want to have tile. And I'm going to get into our library. Again, we'll get into a subset of materials. I'm going to open up the manufacturer catalogs because I want to use a dowel tile. Go into floor tile and simply select one, select OK, and then I'm going to select OK again, and you'll see the change updated below. There are several other ways that we can update our materials. I can use our material painter tool and open up different materials in the program. I'm going to come down and change this to a Benjamin Moore paint, and we'll grab a brown color and simply select to paste that onto the walls. You also have the option, there's this material eyedropper, of grabbing a material and pasting so that I can change that ceiling to a white color. Now through these windows you can see we have just a nice light blue background. We can change our backdrop by getting back into our library and going up to our core catalogs where we have our backdrop folder. I'm going to expand this folder, and we have land, sky, and water. So we can grab one. I'll just grab a flat view, and that one looks good. To place it in there, all we do is click and paste so that we have that nice view of the field in our background. And now every camera view that we have will have that backdrop. You can also import your own, so if you want to be able to see exactly what you're going to see outside, for instance, your kitchen window or outside your front door, you can import those images and paste those as a backdrop. Now I'm going to come up here and exit out of this 3D view. And now that our first floor is pretty well established, let's build our foundation. So to do that, I'm going to come up to our floor tools, and I'm going to select Build Foundation. This is going to ask me how I want it to be built. I'm going to click this Auto Rebuild Foundation button. What this does is if I move any first floor walls, my foundation will automatically update to adjust. I can increase the stem wall height here if I want to make room for a basement, but I don't want a basement, so I'm going to leave it the way it is so we have a nice crawl space. Select OK, and you can see it dropped us down to floor 0, which is our foundation floor. So now we're looking at our foundation walls. And we're going to take a quick dollhouse view of this foundation. So you can see where I named the garage on the first floor, it updated the foundation to accommodate that. And then we have our foundation for the rest of the house. I'm going to exit out of this view, and let's build a second floor. To do that, I'm going to go up to my first floor, and just as we did for the foundation, I'm going to come to my floor tools and select Build New Floor. Now it's going to ask me if I want to derive a second floor plan from the first floor plan, or if I want to simply create a second floor but have a blank space, a blank canvas to draw on. I'm going to select Derive Second Floor and then adjust the walls from there. So here I can update my defaults for the second floor, but I'm going to leave everything as it is. Select OK, and now just as it did for the foundation, now it's bringing us up to our second floor automatically. Now I'm going to come over to my display options here on the side and select this reference display. This enables me to see what's going on the floor below me. You can also find this up in your 3D tools at the top. So now I'm going to adjust these walls simply by pulling them in, and then I'm going to pull this wall to meet up with the wall below it. And to make sure that those are structurally aligned, I'm going to, with that selected, come down to my Edit toolbar, and we have this Align with Wall Below button, so that with one click I make sure that my framing is all going to be aligned there. So now I'm going to go down to my first floor because we need a way to reach the second floor. I'm going to take another full camera view looking at where we're going to be building stairs. And once again, Shift F6 so that I can see both views at once. I'm going to zoom in on my stair section by using my scroll wheel, and then I'm going to come up to my stair tools. And we do have a number of stair options. You can create a landing or a ramp. You can curve your stairs very easily. I'm just going to draw out my straight stairs. I'm going to create a U-shaped stair. And to do that, I'm simply going to click and drag in the direction that you would walk up the stairs. And then I'm going to draw another one. It's going to come right out beside it. And then I'm going to simply click in between the two stairs, which will automatically create my landing for me. And you can see here we have our nice staircase, but we're going to hit the ceiling pretty quickly. So I am going to select these stairs, and first they're looking a little shallow, so let's open them up. And it's going to tell me that it is a shallow staircase and that the best fit riser height requires 18 risers, and I have 20. So I'm going to select OK and simply pull back 2 stairs, so that now we have our best fit riser height, and you can see the stairs adjust accordingly. But now to create my stairwell, I'm going to simply select the stairs, and down here in my edit toolbar we have an auto stairwell button, so that with one click I create the stairwell to the floor above it. Now one last thing I'm going to do on this floor is draw walls around my stairs. So I'm going to draw out a wall, and that one I want to align with the wall above it. And then I'm going to draw out another wall, and you'll notice when I draw a wall underneath the stairs, it automatically cuts the walls to meet with the stairs. And I'll do that one more time over here. So you can see it cuts that wall underneath the stairway. We'll pull that out just a little bit so that it meets up with the stair above it. There we go. And then I can also place a door right here so that we have some nice under the stair storage area. And now here in my 3D view, I'm going to come up to the second floor. So you can see it created that nice stairwell with the railings around it. Make sure we're not going to be falling down. I'm going to exit out of here, and we're going to go up to the second floor. I'm going to maximize this space so we can see what we're doing a little better. And I'm also going to turn off the reference display so we're not distracted by the floor below while we're editing. And the first thing I'm going to do on my second floor is I want to create a balcony area over here. So to do that, I'm going to use my break wall tool again, and I'm going to select where I want my wall to break. Then I hit my space button to get back to the select objects mode so I'm not breaking more walls. I'm going to simply pull that wall back. Then I'm going to select another exterior wall and draw a wall to meet up with it. And finally, I want to create a railing for my balcony. So I'm going to, another one of my straight wall tools is a straight railing. I'm going to simply draw out the railings so that now we have a nice balcony area. And I want to make sure, I'm going to open this up, I want to make sure under structure that I have roof over this room selected so that when we go to build our roof, the roof is going to extend over the balcony. And it is, so we're good there. And now I'm going to create a little bathroom area over here. So I'm going to draw out a straight interior wall, and I can draw right over the existing railing, and it'll replace the railing with the interior wall. I also can draw angled walls very easily simply by drawing a wall at an angle so that I can meet up with that exterior wall. And you'll notice in our dimensioning tools we also have this angular dimension so that I could specify exactly what I want that angle to be. And we need to make sure that we have access to our rooms here, so I'm going to drop in a couple of doors and place some windows throughout the second floor as well. And then I am going to drop in a pre-designed bedroom set. So just like the island earlier, I have an arranged bedroom that's an architectural block, and I can simply drop that bedroom into the space. So first I'm going to click in the space, and it's telling me that the area is too constricted, but I know that it can fit. It's just that because it's an architectural block, it's reading it as larger than it is. So I'll show you why in a second. I'm going to place it in the outside of the space and then hold down my control key to remove my snap settings so that I can drag that bedroom right in and place it there. And these lines simply indicate that it's an architectural block. It's not actually an object in and of itself. So to remove that, all I have to do is come down here and explode the architectural block, and you'll see that line goes away. So now let's take a 3D view of our space so far. And we'll work on a little bit of electrical work, so we'll use some of our electrical tools. And then I'm going to select Shift F6 just as I did before. So there's that pre-designed bedroom that I placed into the plan. Makes decorating very simple. We have a lot of architectural blocks that you can download online, including a number of bedroom sets. I'm going to zoom in on this space a little bit again with my scroll wheel, and we're going to come up here and use some of our electrical tools. So I am going to place a couple of lights. I'm going to drop in a light to begin with, and you'll notice that's my default light, and that's not really the light that I'm wanting to use. So we'll delete that one. I'm going to go up into my library, into the architectural catalog, and then into our lighting options. And here's where you'll find a number of other lights that you can use. And I just want to use a ceiling mounted recessed light. So we'll place a few of these into the plan, and to drop them in, you simply click to place them there. And you'll notice my lighting, if you focus on the 3D view as I'm dropping these in, the lighting is adjusting accordingly. Place a couple more. And then using some more of our electrical tools, we have a couple of outlets that you can use. I can place switches here on the walls. And then you also have this Auto Place Outlets tool. What this does is it just, with one click, automatically places the outlets throughout the room. Now you can then select them and move them if you would like, but it really is a handy tool to make things very quick for your electrical. Then we also have this Connect Electrical Tools to finish off our electrical plans, so that I can simply drag a line in between each of my electrical objects here and show that the switches are controlling those lights. And these lines, you can definitely move them around and you can edit them so that they look different if you have them look different in your plans. So now that our electrical is done here, I'm going to exit out of this space and we're going to maximize our floor plan again. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So let's take a look at our full overview so we can see what this looks like so far. So we have our balcony space, we have the full first and second floor and our foundation. Obviously we don't have a roof at this point, so we're going to go ahead and build our roof. I'm going to select Shift F6 again, so we're working in both modes at once. And then up here on our roof tools, where we deleted the roof earlier, we're going to select Build Roof. And I'm simply going to click Build Roof and Auto Rebuild Roofs. And what Auto Rebuild Roofs does is that any changes that I make automatically update accordingly. You can also change the pitch or your overhangs or a number of other options about the roof before you build it. I'll select OK, and you'll see it automatically places a hip roof onto the plan. And I just noticed we don't have any support for the roof here, so I have a column placed. Well, nice thing about 3D modes is that it does show you something structurally like that, so that you can see we're going to need some supports. Okay, so now in updating the roof, I'm going to click on the wall that I want to adjust the roof bearing on it. So I'm going to select this wall and I want to change it to a gable roof above that wall. To do so, all I have to do is come down to my Edit toolbar at the bottom, select Change to Gable Wall, so that with one click you can see it updated because we had automatic roofs turned on. And I'm going to spin around here a little bit so that we can update the back. And I'm going to come down to my first floor, simply by clicking on the arrow. And I'm going to change these walls to gable walls as well. And again, I held down my Control key to select all three of those walls. And with one click, you can see that updated. So now we have a nice gable wall over the garage as well. And I'm going to scroll around a little bit. So now that our roof is built and all of our floors are established, let's build the framing. I'm going to exit out of this mode and maximize this one, and we'll go ahead and quickly build our framing. So I'm going to start with the foundation and select our framing, and I'm just going to go through and click each of these build ceiling, build floor framings so that we make sure that everything is built. And you can specify openings, headers. I'm going to leave everything as it is for default. Select OK. And I don't want, this is asking me if I want it to be displayed in the current view. I don't want my framing to be displayed in plan view, so I'm going to select no through all of these. And then I'm going to take a perspective framing overview so we can see our framing for the house so far. So we have all of our framing members. You can see it automatically created our openings around the windows and doors. And in Home Designer Professional you have quite a bit more control than with the other programs. The other ones you can see a 3D overview, but it's not going to allow you to edit anything or establish the framing in that dialog box like I just showed you. So we could move any of these around or open them up and change them. Now we'll exit out of here, and our house is still kind of floating on air here. So let's do a little bit of landscaping. So to start off, I'm on my first floor. I want to make sure that I'm there so that when I build my terrain, it's going to create the terrain perimeter around the first floor. And I'm going to take another 3D overview so we can start to see what's going on here. So now we're no longer floating in air. I'm going to select Shift F6 again so that we see what's going on. And I'm going to click on my landscaping and simply start resizing the lot. And I'm going to pull this one in a little bit because actually we're going to have the backyard on the left side here. And then it's a flat lot at this point, but I can use our elevation data tools. And you can place lines or spleens or points to establish the elevation. I'm just going to use our elevation regions, and I'll show you how these work. So I can just drag a region out, and that makes it so that it ensures that everything around the house is going to be the same elevation as the terrain. Then I'm going to draw another elevation region back here, and then one more down in this corner. Then I can open up any one of these regions and change the elevation. So this one I'll change it to 80, select OK, and you can see the elevation updates. And open up this one here on the bottom, and I'm going to select 120, select OK, and now we have a nice hilly region in the back of our house. So very easy to create a wide variety of different elevation data so that you can match your own homes. Now I'm going to draw out a deck. So instead of using the railing tool as I did before, we actually have deck tools. So I can simply draw out a straight deck railing, and you'll see the railing appearing there, but then watch what happens as I finish off the deck room. So I'm going to pull it in, and it will automatically frame that deck for me, including my footings, so that as soon as that deck room is finished, it builds it all for you. And now I'm going to use another one of my stair tools. So instead of manually dragging out the stairs, actually it looks like something happened there. So I'm going to rotate that around so we can make sure that our stairs are looking correct again. But I'm going to use our click stairs so that with one click it'll build the best fit stair for me right there. And I can select it and using the edit toolbars resize the stairs, or using the edit handles, excuse me, I can resize the stairs. And now I want there to be a garden bed all along the perimeter, so I'm going to come up to terrain, and one of our options is a garden bed feature. I'm going to draw out just a basic polyline, just a square, And then from there I'm going to select it and come down to the Edit toolbar and click Break Line. It's similar to the Break Wall tool, but it enables me to break the line of the polyline so that I can drag just a section of it out. And I'm going to do the same thing so that it wraps all the way around this deck. Break the line, and using the edit handles, drag it out to the back. We'll drag it out just a little bit further. And then break the line one more time so that I can pull it all the way around the deck. And we have a number of other polyline garden bed tools so that you can create circular ones, spleen, quite a few options there. And obviously I don't want my garden bed over top of my stairs, so I'm going to select this garden bed and I'm going to break the line 2 more times, one on either side of the stairs. One more here so that I can pull it back. And we have space to walk. And speaking of space to walk, let's put a sidewalk there. So I can drag it out from the stairs to the edge of my terrain, and then I'm going to resize it. And sidewalks resize on either side, but you can change the edit properties. And then I also need a driveway area, so we'll come to our terrain tools again, and we'll do a driveway. And this one we're simply going to drag out just as we did the polyline garden bed. And now it looks like all we're missing is plants. So let's go up to our terrain tools and come down to plants, and we'll use our plant chooser tool. I don't think I selected it, so we'll do that one more time. There we go. And so here's where you can search for plants based on a variety of different features. So you can search for it, if you happen to know the scientific name, you can type it right in there. You can search for it based on the height, the zones. So we have our map here, and this one's the Western USA, but we have quite a few areas that you can look at. This is going to tell you what your plant zone is. So we're at 5 to 6, and you can search for plants that are specific to that zone. Select OK, so I could change any of those, or you can search based on the flower color, leaf color, number of different features. I'm going to search based on just the common name. So we'll look for a lodgepole pine. Up here in North Idaho we have quite a few pine trees, and then I can simply select it and place them here in my plan. And you'll see the image of the plant in 2D, and then once we look at our 3D you'll see it all updated. And then I can also search for a Douglas fir and drop a couple of those in. Those are big trees. Place those in the back. Or there's a couple of shrubs to place on our garden bed, so let's look for a mock orange tree. And we'll zoom into the garden bed area. Place a few of those around the perimeter. And search for one more. Let's look for a chokecherry. And place those around there as well. And you can continue doing so until you're satisfied with the number of trees in the plan. You also can select these and resize them. They're going to resize according to the ratio. So unlike some of the other objects where you can lower the height, this one's going to lower the width alongside the height. Alright, so now that our landscaping plans are pretty well done, we have all of our materials set for the plan. So I'm going to exit out of our 3D view, and let's take a look at our material list. So to do so, I'm going to come up to Tools and down to Material List, and then Calculate from All Floors. So this is going to generate my full materials list. Everything that I've placed into the plan is going to be placed on this list. It'll give it a general ID, tell you what floor it's on, how big it is, a general description, and how many you're going to need. You also have this column for price so that I can place my pricing into the plan total cost and the total for the entire plan will be calculated, so you can do some cost estimating very, very easily. You also can save individual items to a master list so that then you can import those very easily to create your various cost estimating. Some of these features are only going to be available in the Home Designer Professional, but all programs are going to generate a material list. Also have the ability to export this material list as a text file, a CSV, Excel, so you can use it with a number of other programs as well. So now let's exit out of here, and I'm not going to save this particular list. And then to wrap up our plan, let's create our layout. So I'm going to come up here to File, New Layout. Again, this is only a feature that's available in Home Designer Professional. So this is our layout page. It enables me to put your name on here, to give a brief description of the project, and then to give a title for this page. You can import your logo, and you have CAD tools up here at the top, including text tools, so that you can add various things to this page. Now we're going to go back to our floor plan, and I'm going to start just by taking an elevation view of the front of the house. And it'll generate that for us. Let's exit out of this library. We don't need it anymore. And first thing I'm going to do is turn off my color. I don't need color for an elevation view. And then what I just did there is I'm opening up my display options because I don't want plants to appear. So to make those not appear in this view, I can simply uncheck that display option. Select OK, and now we just have the home. And our elevation here in the back is what you're seeing there. So now to send this view to our layout page, I can simply export it, send it to the layout. I can specify the scale. I want it to be 1/4 inch equals a foot, and then select OK. It's going to bring this view into my layout page, and I can move it around and place it accordingly. So I'm going to move it up to the top here, and I'm going to toggle back to my floor plan. Again, I'm going to get into my display options because I don't want plants appearing on this view either, and I also don't want attic walls, which will become important when we go up to the second floor. Select OK. Oh, and one last thing I don't want to appear is furniture. Select OK. And now I'm going to send this view to my layout, same as before. This time I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch equals a foot. Select OK, and I'm going to move this down to the corner, and I'm going to resize it. I don't need all of this terrain to show, and pull it right over into the corner. And now I'm going to toggle back to my floor plan, go up to the second floor with this arrow, and send view to layout. I want the scale to match the first floor. Select OK, and pull it down into the corner. And very easily we've created a layout page. So you can send various views, you can spend quite a bit of time establishing your views and sending them to layout. So it's very easy to create a full set of plans from beginning to end. You can see in just under an hour we built an entire home and did the full plans for it. So next I want to show you a few things on our website. So pull up homedesignersoftware.com. Here's our website. You'll find all of our products here and a product chooser if you need some help figuring out which one is going to be the right fit for you. We also do have upgrade credits available, so if you have an older version or if you have one on a lower level, you can upgrade to a higher version and we'll give you a discount to do so. We also have here under the User Center, here's where you'll find the content downloads. So those bonus and manufacturer catalogs that I was mentioning before, you'll see all of those here on our website, and you can download those and bring them into the program. Under the User Center here, we also have our training videos. So we have quite a few videos that we've created to help give you some training. They're searchable, so you can search for specific items. Here's where you'll find some more webinars, just like this one that you can attend. You'll see a full schedule available there. Here under the support, we have our help database. This is filled with articles that our training department has written to help assist with whatever specific issues you want help with or something you want to learn a little bit more about. So for instance, we can type in kitchen and you'll see all of the articles appear below that can assist you with your kitchen area. Under support as well, we have our user forum, and that's where users can connect and get together, exchange ideas if there's something that's specific to your area that you want to ask someone about. Great resource for you to get some additional help in the program. Alright, so like I said, Emily will be here for a little bit after the webinar has ended to answer any questions you might have. So if there's any lingering questions, please feel free to type those in. She'd be happy to answer those for you. Now, our home designer software is based on professional grade software. We do have a full professional line, so it's very robust. There's a lot that you can do with it. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee on all of our software, so it's very risk-free to give it a shot. If for any reason it doesn't work out for you, you can call us and receive a full refund. We do have quite a few online resources to help you out, give you some additional training in the program. If you need help choosing a product, we do have resources on our website. You can also call us. We're happy to help you out with that. Send us an email, we'll answer it, help give you some direction on where you should be heading. So thank you so much for attending today's webinar. Like I said, if you have any more questions, just type those right in, and you have a wonderful day.